Hi, this is Jeff Lesher with What's the Point? And the point this week has to do with answering the question, is it better to be consistent or to be right? And this is drawn from the NCAA men's basketball regional final, in which one team fouled another team as time literally expired, and the team taking the shot on which the foul was called was able to score one more point and win the game, which caused outrage among former players and coaches who believe somehow that the rules should only apply during certain parts of the game, which they view less critical. In other words, the rules don't apply when they are most important to apply. So without litigating the entirety of college basketball officiating, the gist of what you need to take away from this is the following. The foul was committed based on the technical writing of the rules. And it was called at an inconvenient time for one team because a missed shot turned into one made free throw, and that 1 point was the differential between winning and losing and advancing to the Final Four or going home. Now, the much more credible argument than we should only call fouls during the first 38 minutes of the game, not the last two, is that it was inconsistent, that this game had been called in a very liberal way, and a lot of contact had been forgiven, was not called a foul. Now, I can't sit in judgment of was it truly inconsistent or not, but it sort of boils down to the following thing. If you don't want to be called for a violation, don't commit one. Not was this a violation earlier in the game and let me see if I can get away with it. Because there is far too much of that in the way that we approach certain things, which makes inconsistency inevitable and, frankly, bad behavior almost certain, if not more likely. Rules are important, at least so you know when you're making an exception to them. And when they are properly applied, which means that they're written down somewhere, they're trained, somebody does something that is counter to them, and they are called to account, you can't then throw up your hands and complain. And you should also take note of what the losing coach said. The losing coach, who, by the way, was complaining about every call throughout the game against his team, and obviously enjoyed every call that was made against the other team, or whatever the circumstance was. He said, if we're going to win with class, we also have to lose with class. So I didn't think that he particularly coached with class, but he was certainly right in the final analysis. So that for all of us, and sports is a good metaphor for life, know what the rules are, work to stay within them, acknowledge when you're working outside of them and why you may choose to do that. And if somebody calls you to account, at least own the fact that you were outside of the rule. And whether you think you should be called out or penalized in the way that happens to unfold, that's a second issue. But the fact is, a rule is a rule, and if it exists for a reason, it should be applied whenever it is seen to be having violated. That is the point.